he's going to look to leave the Portuguese side, but ultimately that league, I believe, is now part of the merge into Spain and Italy as well. So it's only going to get tougher to make it to these events. So opportunities anywhere is always going to be a good start for those squads.
Well, two slightly different looks in terms of utility. You got Loita and Laroc coming in, Omen and Akeo. And on the other side, the only differences being that Astra and Breach swapped out for their respective roles. Now, yeah, it's slightly different identity. I guess you get a little bit more ability to pounce with Saw's side. You've got Fragger dropping down utility. Hopefully BRK able to follow up on that. Like you said, this is going to be a big matchup, BRK versus ComeBack, because if you're not able to keep up with ComeBack, he is going to run away with the game. And we got to see that yesterday. We've seen it a number of days in this tournament so far.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how the Breach will be utilized, because I feel like a lot of the time maybe he could yeet someone off the map with an ult. That for me is what I'm going to be looking out for, just because we're here for the funnies. But I'm intrigued to see how that's going to be used in combination with others, because I feel like this is a massive map. It's not one like when I think of Breach, I think of like a Haven or a Split where you can play in mid and you can sort of set up stuns everywhere. I don't feel like this map is similar in that regard. It's going to be very difficult to put those fault lines into play. So I want to know how that's actually going to work out for them. Either way, straight off the bat, it's a very fast take in towards A.
Oh yeah, we're looking scrappy. PCIFIC straight in, but the smokes have kept Saw back, buying a little bit of space and a little bit of time. The spams not dropping the spike planter. PCIFIC not falling back, looking instead to go forward. That stun though has caught a lot of them, and Saw will take the ground on the back of it. Fights swinging their way. Celasun stuck in the corner, still alive for now. Cover from the side was enough, and that bought him the space to isolate those duels in spawn. A 3K under his belt already. Celasun off to a flying start, as our PCIFIC 1-0.
Yeah, it's always that sort of the saying of are they stuck with him or is he stuck with them? Because it looked like for a second he was absolutely screwed, but able to turn on a dime. Decent attempt in the retake. And I will say I'm always happy to see the Astra involved when it comes to this map. I think on attack especially, the post plants can be fairly nasty. Another thing that scares me though is they got absolutely bodied on this map by the Ultimates, or another squad who've definitely had their sort of ups and downs. It looks like Halid sort of had his moments sort of taking over, and it was some quiet performances from players we definitely expect a little bit more from. For now though, wow, I was going to say there may be a battle of some pistols here, but the ruse that's being sold by Laroc is going to hold players here, and the rest are looking to go to the other side.
Yeah, Laroc has certainly kept the troops in place. You can see that there's not much of an opportunity here to pick anyone off on the cross, so a free plant, and oh, it looks like a little bit of space extension as well for PCIFIC. Moving up into heaven, Marshall in hand. ComeBack, he has a battle on his hands. He's already found the first. The second just around the corner, but he hadn't seen Fragger. Setting into position, dropping as many weapons as possible here. The goal, and well, it seems like Saw are off to a bit of a flyer. Already just 2 players left alive for PCIFIC, and a chance for Addicted to make that a little bit more costly.
Yeah, already removing a decent amount, making things costly. But Celasun, it seems like, you know, he's on a team where I feel like thus far he hasn't been able to have as much of the limelight. When the pressure's off, it looks like he's trying to take it away. 4-0, a great start for the Sentinel. Not a bad round whatsoever though for Saw. And as we mentioned, although expectations here, you got a team that are 3-0. I think for an incredibly young squad, they've been able to beat out like teams like Maus, who were the winner of DAC, Job Life, the winner of France, and of course the MENA representative of the Ultimates. All teams that have beaten their opposition. Saw have made it close in a lot of games. So again, I'm sure that there's no team that want to go in winless, and for Saw an opportunity to potentially play a game with a lot less pressure on their shoulders. A good start to this round. A fairly even trade, but with that kill coming in onto Loita, they'll now take the advantage.
Yes, it seems like PCIFIC will be focusing in towards the A site to close this one out, but pumping the brakes a moment, allowing Saw to rethink their current spots. They have left A little bit lighter for a moment. Breach Utility slows down the push though, and the spam lights Larocque to 10. They're going in the other direction. BRK is already here, ready for the kills, and Rose first to fall. Larocque still clinging onto life with his 10 HP. He won't be hanging on too long if he does get into a firefight, and one is coming his way. Down to 18. BRK now in that same situation. Doesn't look like he has a way out of here. He's got to fight his way out.
Oh, I don't think he's going to be winning that one. The only real thing he has done is buy a lot of time. That's problematic, though. Larocque being able to catch out Cunha. And there's nobody even on the side of the map where they're going to anymore. This will be an afterplant, a 2 versus 4 scenario that has somehow become a post plant for this defensive side. It's actually going to take... for the attack. The defense is going to take a while to get there as well. They're still clearing mid. They're still checking all of these angles. They may have even both been spotted by the cam, and they're going to get the reveal. Bear in mind how low Larocque is. He wants to take the fights aggressively, turn it into a 1v1. The value is definitely there. And in the meantime, Celasun is playing ring around a Rosé. He wants to let his opponent clear all these back angles, clear all these positions while the plant is down, waste his time, and instead now look to be in the exact spot that he's already checked. The only thing will be the time. He's heard him tap it and is going to have to step, but I don't know if his opponent will have heard him from here. The time is going to go down to the wire. But eventually, Addicted, he gets the kill, but the clock has already gone. Celasun just baiting out that clock has done enough, and it will eliminate everybody else. A huge round victory for PCIFIC, and for Saw, it's going to be head in hands.
Yeah, it really is, especially with the context of what we're looking at here. Their opportunity to show themselves off in first map. Where you want to get into the swing of things. Can't even follow up with that third round, despite it being so close. Just one bullet away. A couple seconds in either direction. We have a completely different result, but ain't how the cookie crumbles this time. Saw left to an eco, the weak weapons, couple forced up here or there. Marshall, Guardian, there's definitely some potential for the defensive side to fight back. But PCIFIC hold a huge advantage. Saw grouped up on A, looking to make a big play. Flash though sends PCIFIC running, and it looks like they'll be safely towards this B site. That pick should confirm a plant.
Not a lot of expectations in this round, especially now. The spike making its way over. This will confirm a couple of ultimates for the next round as well for the attack, with Larocque claiming an orb from the plant. Loita. Oh, loitering around middle. It doesn't overextend. Doesn't want to give too much away, especially with potential for ComeBack to also have the Blade Storm online. As said, he is probably the player I've seen most use this weapon to abuse the opponent's economy. I don't think I've seen as many players, even in tier 1, pick this gun up knowing, okay, very good chance of light shields. I'll invest into this and just make my life a whole lot easier. It's very intelligent play from the team with, well, as said, like they're a premier team. They have the least experience of anybody here.
Well, that's it. They mean in the lab, I suppose, putting in the hours. That's what you get for it. Smart, cerebral play. I've been really impressed by the level, I think, of so many of the teams here in Ascension. But I feel like teams like Saw, I came in with expectations of a decent run. And we really had signs as well. Maus, who were hailed as a strong team. It was so close to several overtimes. Addicted. That's a fantastic start. Hunter's Fury's not just killed Rose, but tagged Larocque to an inch of his life. All that damage. The flash from Fragger that gets him out, ready for the push. Ahead of it, fighting around the cages, and the squads come in to back him up. Loita running for the hills and hasn't even obtained the spike. That's a rough one. A 1v5.
Okay.
And Saw have seized this round.
Yeah, even closing it out on just 5 HP for Fragger. But that's about as well as that could have gone. Keeping all 5 players alive. Huge boost in economy. Only the Hunter's Fury being used and counted out on the other side. There's always worries with a lot of these rounds sort of slipping away in the early stages that a team will never quite get up, especially with how things have gone for so far this tournament. But they're definitely not down and out just yet. Blade Storm available for comeback once again. He's going to be utilizing it immediately. And by the looks of things, they might look for a bit more of a direct approach. Again, though, it seems like Saw are ready for it.
It does. They've got numbers here to defend, and the first fight a little labored. And big picks out of Rose. That's 2 followed up on the site, almost completely open. One player on the bridge snuck past and, well, caught immediately. Lerock gets both of those kills, and Saw locked out in a 1v4. Look at the damage done, but it may amount to nothing.
Okay, I have a question for you. And I don't think you have the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How is ComeBack not dead?
Oh, I have absolutely no idea. He clung to life on that.
Flew into the site.
Yep.
On his own.
Yep.
Had a player spray. I think it was a full clip.
Yep.
He went over someone's head into heaven and is still alive. Like,
That's accurate.
I don't want to say that was the whiff of the century, but it has to be up there because he didn't even know the guy was there. I saw someone die like a few seconds later from Cunha, and I was like, my brain didn't process. I was like, that had to be ComeBack because how on earth could it be anyone else? It wasn't. I think it was must have been a smoke spam or someone running in. How has he not died?
We're gonna get a replay. Let's see. It was this first fight. It took so long. Cunha firing away. I think it must have been at least 20 bullets. Close to target, but not quite on.
Oh.
And, well, you see the damage that can do. Like I said, so many of those fights, incredibly close. And in the chaos, Rose was using the Hunter's Fury, just picking them off. A devastating round because you win that one from Saw in the previous, and you're starting to think, okay, we're back in it. This is our comeback arc, but they're still in the training phase, and they've got quite a bit of ground to catch up on. Nice shot by BRK. That's the opening we're looking for.
Managed to muster up the finances. Bit of a risky peek taken from Rose, but they're going to go pressuring the other side. Cunha in aggressive position. Loita is so aware, so ready. And that's going to be the A site completely opened up. There's nobody else here to defend it. They're going to try and run through the smoke while the utility's just too far behind. It's really disjointed, and those kills just look so easy for Loita. BRK's done well on the other side of the map. A solo defender of B, but I feel like the blunders on the A site have undone all the good work that he did. Now trying to find in the post plant and... oh, all the information of exactly where they are is going to be handed over.
Just making it that much more difficult. BRK doesn't know there's an enemy right behind him, and well, they found out now. Loita, that could have been the ace.
Yeah.
Celasun on the site took it away, but that's fine. At the end of the day, all that matters is the rounds, and for Pacific, they are coming in numbers 6-1. And the defensive side, again, in a pretty rough spot economically. We're expecting to see a couple of rifles and the rest of the squad with pistols, or maybe just slightly better.
Yeah, that's going to be, again, I feel like BRK did well, and then the push through, like Fragger's flash was so far behind Addicted that there was no way it was ever going to catch anyone. It made things so easy for Loita. And don't get me wrong, Loita still has to hit the shots. But if you're gambling on these Turkish players not connecting shots, you're in the wrong game. I'll be honest with you. They haven't been missing. They haven't been whiffing. They've been fantastic. But if you give them easy fights, well, making their day. Money in the bin. A sniper of sorts for BRK, but definitely not the one he'd desire. And well, that's about how I thought that would go.
Yeah, it's on script. A chance though towards this B site. Pacific Creeping. Well, never mind. Gonna have any problems. Maybe on middle there could have been an issue, at least a headache.
Please.
But no, there is nothing that could go wrong for this squad, and it's starting to just get a little tough to watch. Some of those opportunities.
They saw.
Oh God.
And that's where the quote ends.
Yep, it's done.
They saw quite a few people this round, to be fair to them, but yeah. I'm not gonna lie. At this point, I didn't expect that to land. That I don't know. It's a little bit depressing because I feel like these are players in the right place, and then they're just getting out aimed. Like there's nothing in this round other than like just be raw individual 1v1s and just not connecting. And I think definitely a good time for a pause because no matter what the expectations were on this team, this is not the level that they want to be coming in with on this map. Like that's a couple of rounds now where the round before this was just a mistake on timing, like trying too hard to get yourself back into the game, and I think you've overplayed a hand. In this one, it just felt like everybody whiffed. Like every single player just had a moment of, okay, I'm ready, I'm watching for a guy, and he's walked around the corner, and I'm just not hitting my shots. And it happens, but with the scenario they're already in, you need to make sure that that doesn't go any further. Because, again, this is not a map where the expectations were particularly high. It's a very good map. 100% win rate in 4 from Pacific. 0% win rate. But very close game versus Mouse for Saw. But this is, again, they're just getting boomed right now.
I do definitely empathize with the coaching staff in this moment, and even with the players during that pause, because it's a very difficult thing to recover from. Like you're saying, are there things they could do better? I'm sure, you know, but you've got to pick those out amongst a sea of reasons that are just, well, we missed those shots and this guy hit his shots, and well, we didn't realize one had walked right up on us. Okay, there's a fixable issue about map control, about the gaps that you have, but a lot of the other stuff's just going to be flying by like, yeah, they were just better. And I think it's hard to keep the mood up in moments like that. And number of challenges for Saw. A lot more important than that, though. Defending this A site. Traps are awaiting Pacific, not just from Cypher, but also from Breach. The stun could get addicted to kill here. Although, oh, it is fired out just in time. And a good reveal lands. That's gorgeous. The opening is theirs.
Under pressure. Moving as a unit, flash through, and LaRock, he's been the can opener so far. He might not be on a duelist, but he's definitely working as a second one. The fight's initially going the way of the defense, but again, it quickly dwindles. Player up from heaven. Cunha to try and turn it back, but it's being watched for, and Rose not missing a beat. And for BRK, you can understand wanting to hold on to that operator. It's been, at least in one of the rounds, he was able to open up over on that B side, but even with the majority of the forces ready on A, they just weren't able to hold. 8-1. You're seeing the true sort of, well, the dominance that this Pacific side have shown. You give them anything, you give them opportunities, they will take it out of your hands, and I feel like they're very unforgiving. Like they're a team that if they start rolling, they're not stopping. They're just not. And you have to basically take things back from them. And the way, you even look at the way they played this round. They lost the opening kill. Their response, let's spam through to try and find the trips and then pop flash out of the smoke and just fight them.
Well, this is it. You see Pacific in those moments move as such a unit. They're able to, sure, have those disadvantages at the start. Individuals step it up. Constant trades, like the second Loita goes down up top, Rose is filling the space. Rose takes that fight, and you could already see LaRock was stepping back to get involved. And this has been a problem that Saw just can't deal with. Even in the moments where they're getting one, which, you know, is less frequent, the trades are coming through, and Pacific are recovering on every deficit. Saw one round on the board. Sure, this isn't their map pick. Like, we can look forward to Ascent, but like you said, Pacific aren't bad there. Turkish map as well. And pressure on now for Saw to deliver. So yeah, that's how this game's been going for them so far.
Cunha will at least bring one back, but I feel like BRK is a bit cursed. The wrong place at the wrong time, unfortunately. Not really in the moment. And I can't imagine them breaking this post plant apart. The problem is a save at this stage won't even help them out that much. They have the cash to buy into the next round. The operator a little different. That one probably won't be brought back, but at the same time, you kind of question, is it even worth saving at this stage with how things have been going? Maybe wanting to just try and be a hero to almost turn things back, but instead it's become a game of chase, a game of cat and mouse. Nice shot for BRK. Holding on to this is definitely not going to be easy. In fact, there's not really anywhere to run. They're trying to shut him in. He thinks he's escaping. Instead, he's running right into the clutches of an opponent. Oh, just about. You can take that as the smallest win. But other than that, it is still 9-1. Pacific still dominating, and these rounds haven't been close.
Oh, well, things we didn't need in the replay. Part 1. It has been rough for Saw. They definitely have not been able to hit the ground running in this series. And like I said, starting out the tournament, such a close series against Mouse. It really inspired some confidence. It inspired excitement, at least, to see what they could do in the future games. But after what we've seen, I mean, the last thing I want, Tom, is for this to end. You know, you have that close competitive start. You think about the what ifs, the what can be, and then you get dominated in the last series. You know, get out as quick as you can be. We want to see a fight from Saw, and hopefully that will be on Ascent, because it certainly hasn't been here, but there's still time. A 9-3 half possible. Defensive side, 2 in a row. It's definitely doable. BRK has a chance. There's a player coming around that corner any moment now. They baited the shot, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now LaRock will be the one looking to take the fight. In fact, no, Rose has won it first. Looked like it was going to be a bit more awkward, but not the case. Another post plant. And BRK's got down through the smoke. It's going from bad to worse. The pre-fire's in. Loita getting more and more confident by the second. The pot flash dodged. And even now, just flying into the open. Has another smoke, but I don't think Loita will even bother using it. They feel so confident in their ability to fight against this team. And even while blinded, goes facing back in. 10-1. Any hope has left the server long ago. Any chance seems to have gone with it. As this Pacific squad, they've not missed a beat. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to look at the side of Saw and say that, okay, things definitely aren't competitive. They're not there. But on the other side of things, every single member, you're talking about a 3-kill difference from the top player to the bottom. Barely any deaths on their side either. This has been clinical.
Very much so. A masterclass from the side of Pacific. Double digits already found on the attack side. Perfect control of the map so far, but that is ended towards the A side. They've lost a player, and the deep drone is just about to catch the rotations away. B side expected to be the hit, but a lot of damage being done there, and even more now. Rose, the one to pick up that frag for the Pacific side, but it's the only one that they've got. That said, it has opened up the B side. They can get a plant out of this. The Saw are mainly focused around mid, and it's not like BRK wants to give away another individual fight.
Oh, Cosmic Divide. So much utility. And an attempted counter failing. BRK will get one, and the second shouldn't be too far behind. They are going to find themselves a second round right at the dying embers of the half. We've heard of 9-3 curses. Not heard quite as much about the 10-2, Mitch.
No, it is a different beast altogether, but one that Saw now have to learn to navigate. Next map up, like we said, is their map pick, but this second half has to be a display of strength if we're to believe they can take this series. We'll find out if it is. welcome back, folks. 10 rounds for Pacific. We're entering the second half. It is early days, but well, it could be late days as well for the side of Saw. This is their last game, here in this tournament. And well, for the side of Pacific, it doesn't seem like they're going to take it easy on them, sending them home. This is a dominant display from the Turkish side. Now moving on to their defense and Saw's attack. Well, let's hope it's flawless, at least for a while.
Well, you know, do you want a silver lining, Mitch?
Sure, Tom.
I don't have one. Pacific are actually better on the defensive side. They win 71% of their defensive round and only 54 normally on the attack. So it's a really bleak scenario. I'm looking towards Ascent, but let's see if they can ruin the stats. They've got to do it anyway, right? A decent start. Sheriffs have been invested to. They've got to watch out. Celasun is still around the corner, but it is being checked for, and the shots land. BRK is going to put them with a 2-man advantage. And in this post plant, not going to be easy for the defense to get themselves back in. Paranoia sent through, but not going to do too much. ComeBack has been able to bring things a little bit further, but in these post plants, it should be nigh on impossible at this stage for the defense, and BRK at least is starting to step up. He's going to get himself 4 kills in the pistol round. A little bit of life still breathing through Saw.
And an important factor as well, moving into that next map. The reality is a comeback from here is going to be very difficult, and even with this win, they know that. But getting in the rhythm, finding the taste of victory again, and perhaps feeling that hunger coming into the next map. And that is one way to start it off for BRK, a confidence builder that could help out in the series, even if it doesn't end up having that much of an impact for this map. That said, we are looking at the 10th round for Pacific staying there. It won't be moving off the mark in this one. Just pistols for the side of the defense. Saw should have a walk in the park. The B site, the target. Pacific have the read. A big rotation underway. The spike should be there and planted by the time they arrive.
Yeah, the gamble not paying off, and playing a retake on this B site never easy, especially when they've walked into trips. The spam, they're gonna do a crazy amount. Every little bit of chip damage helps, and with an Astra breach post plant, I don't think there should be any way to get back into this.
No, very much locked out, and it's confirmed pretty much by BRK. Chance to get just one away from his ultimate. A little orb at least given to Astra. In the end, closed out and Saw push up to 4. This one we didn't really expect to be contested. The next, though, is a different story. Rifles back out for Pacific, and I guess the main factor being that this squad has felt like they're just better on an individual basis in taking their fights. But they've had the advantage on the attack of being able to group up and take those fights together. Now, Saw will have to hope that being able to isolate some of these players is going to be the difference maker for them.
It also means that they can set up BRK a little bit more. I think that's the thing. He was often left in positions where he wasn't really near the action at all. Just gambles of where they would place him with the operator. I think he was forced off with utility quite often. So now they could just put him into position, have the util behind him, have that breach setting up stuns. And well, that's exactly what they've done. Looking like an almost full retake. Celasun's only goal is to maybe try and catch one and give them the advantage. They're also teaming up to make sure there's no one splitting him from behind, but they do have to be a little bit careful, because that lurk will be coming through from GTRW, or GRTW even.
It's a lot of letters and I can't read, but whatever it is, he's picked up a kill. That's all he's gonna get. Just the one to be found. BRK, well, not gonna need to do anything by the looks of things. It's being cleaned up by Addicted. 3 kills under his belt and a very swift conclusion to that retake. Well, the much feared buy round doesn't amount to all that much.
One enemy remaining.
No, I think the more direct take definitely worked out for them. The lurk was something that I don't think the defense were particularly ready for, especially with GRT having a bit of a rough time so far. Maybe a slight confidence builder for him. It's going to put the defensive side back on very little once more, so a chance to close that gap a little bit further. And for the side of Pacific, they've got to make sure they don't get overconfident, because sure, they're very far in the lead, and even though this map defensively has been great for them in the past, we know that compositions like this normally thrive when it comes to the attack. Again, an execution straight into A, and again, not a lot of resistance.
Well, it is certainly free on the site, but not further back, thank God. Oh, ComeBack, you scared me for a moment. The pistols waiting outside of the site, and the aggression of Saw as they attempt to take that little bit of extra space ends up backfiring and costing them heavily. Addicted sniped Celasun. He was up on the railing and got him over the box. Loita left wondering where his teammate just fell from. Now with a sheriff in hand, didn't really stand much of a chance. They had the angle covered. Pacific 10 rounds still. Saw are starting to catch up.
Yeah, there was some crazy shots hit in this round by ComeBack. Like, the back-to-back almost fall off the map would have been an interesting one. So they've still managed to make it costly, but the storm weathered. Addicted really starting to have some high impact round, and Pacific are noting this. They're letting the lead slip away from them. They're going to take themselves a pause. This is where they come in with the buy. This is where they get the operator in hand for ComeBack, someone who has been fearsome with this weapon. But maybe this will be the turning point. But if it's not, then potentially we could be seeing some sort of comeback from Saw, which would be a very big surprise.
It would indeed. And not just because, like, it's very often in Valorant that you're going to see those side swaps benefit a team, and often quite heavily. There'll be a completely new identity. You could be getting destroyed, and then all of a sudden you're right back in the game. You're closing in the scoreline. We've seen it a million times, so it's not like it's shocking in that sense. What is surprising is the fact that they weren't just losing rounds because, oh, they're in the wrong position and they left a gap open and a huge flank happened. And so you expect when the sides swap, the fact that the pace will change and so on benefits them. Saw were just bad. They were losing every fight. There were chances where like 20 bullets are fired at someone and the guy's still alive at the end of the round. The amount of butterfly effect whiffs they had were huge. And I think to turn that around, at least that inspires me. Like I said, I wanted to see them build up rounds for this reason. That okay, now you're warmed up. Now you're back in the game. If we were to start this map again, maybe there would have been life from the get-go. ComeBack stealing their lives away, though. The operator has dropped the spike up top, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, it's something they'll have to go back for, or just look to try and continue the round fighting forward. It's definitely left them a little bit more isolated, but BRK again doing well. They've got to be careful, though. The amount of time that's been bought has allowed Loita to get back in and behind them at that. Potentially a free kill onto BRK. Now the Blade Storm comes out, and it is so quick from ComeBack. Just moments ago, we were talking about the potential of his namesake. I don't think that potential's there anymore.
Yeah, well, that is one way to hammer them down into the dirt. 11 rounds now for Pacific, and a big individual step up for ComeBack. You know, you talk about the little bit of confidence boost someone like BRK just had. Well, that's just doubled, tripled up. Luckily, with all those rounds won, SAR still able to get an investment, still able to buy up into this. They're going to have the rifles and a lot of ultimates to boot. Hunter's Fury online for Addicted. We've seen big value from that ultimate all tournament long, even in this game here. On the defensive side, backing off B, and it's Hunter's Fury to buy the space. That's got a tag and a kill. Oh,
that was almost two. That was very nearly two. A good luck though this time. BRK up in their faces, trying to fight them back, try and stop them, but already the trades are there. And I think they've spotted where Addicted is as well, while he's distracted by the shock dart. And just look at where the last player is. Cunha is miles away. He's trying to set up his star just to slow them a little bit because he's so ridiculously far behind. And they're so confused right now. They're like working out where this guy could possibly be. But he has to run. He has to go. The steps are going to be heard. They'll defuse before he's even remotely close. It is a blunder with the lurk being so far behind. But I guess also from his perspective, you're kind of hoping that your teammates last a little longer. You don't almost get collated by the operator of ComeBack. But wow, it seems like the comeback was very, very short-lived. 5 rounds in a row. Now they need 6. Otherwise, it will be that first map victory as expected.
Seemed like there was so much potential. The Hunter's Fury, the push-up from BRK. It always seems to fall apart for this squad. They had that little bout of clear skies and sunshine, and since then it has been a disaster. 2 rounds straight into Pacific's pocket, and the economy stretched thin for Saw. Able to get themselves a buy still. Light shields will be a big factor, and Blade Storm for BRK to be activated. From there, we need 6 rounds in a row. A gargantuan task for this squad, but we saw them get 4. There's a pistol, an easy follow-up, but still the potential was there. As I said, the main thing being that this squad can already count that they've lost the map. Most likely, that's the position you're in. But next map up is theirs. Confidence builder, getting back in the swing of things and just starting to understand we can do this. Take it across the line. That could be worth its weight in gold. So every little helps here.
This should do. That goes there.
It looks like once again, we're going to see aggression from the defense, although immediately denied by the stun. Paranoia used just to try and clear this ground, but the attack further back. But they have still been spotted. Seems like, if anything, Pacific kind of want to force them into the setup of Celasun. The Rock, then they pushed him into the angle. Well, it's messy originally, but of course it doesn't last long, as does the map. 2 players remaining. Both revealed, make it just 1. All onto Addicted, trying to cling to life. Hunter's Fury thrown in just for a little bit of banter, and of course, it's going to land. It is clean from the side of Pacific as they take map number 1.
It was looking like maybe Saw had some life in them towards the end. That's a good sign for the next map, but right here.